Good morning, friends from Ascension Lutheran Church. It's Leonard Foos at the front entrance of the church, and today I'd like to take you inside and guide you on a little tour and explain a little bit about some of the upcoming work that we need to do in the sanctuary, which is the largest amount of work required to meet the new building code as laid out by and described to us by our architect, Rob Stacy. So let's go inside. Chris Fairbank was our architect, and in the fall of 2020, he suffered a major health crisis, which ended up causing him to close his office, and he retired. Our church is an architecturally managed building project. As such, the architect guides us and acts as our advocate regarding the provincial building code. We chose a new architect in the community by the name of Rob Stacy. Rob met us, that would be Grant Day and myself, and I believe Pete was along with us, Pete McDonald, and we did a site inspection in the first months of this year, 2021. After the inspection, a report was written, but of those points that were identified that needed extra attention, one stood out, and that was the requirement of our ceiling in our sanctuary, in particular the fire rating of our ceiling in the sanctuary. In order to achieve a fire resistance rating of not less than 45 minutes, the code reads, we must somehow create a fire barrier that would provide that kind of fire protection. We looked at a couple of options, one being an intermittent paint, a paint that is sprayed on to a product, onto wood or the walls, and under heat it would turn into a foam barrier and give fire protection. The problem with that was certification, Canadian certification to be particular. So in the end, the next best option that we had was the one recommended by Rob Stacy, and that was to apply 5/8 inch thick fire rated drywall to our ceiling. This could be done either on top of, or we could remove the existing tongue and groove and install the 5/8 inch drywall first. Or we could put it on top of the existing tongue and groove to provide this fire barrier. We sought outside solutions, and in the end, our conclusion was that we would install the 5/8 inch thick drywall as the fire barrier. This was conveyed to council and some of the building committee, and the feedback was, do what we must do, but keep the tongue and groove. So that look that we have and feel in the sanctuary right now is what we would like to achieve in the end when we have completed the necessary fixes to meet the fire code. So let's go into the sanctuary now, and I'll give you a closer look and describe what exactly we would like to do there. So let's do a scan around the sanctuary just to refresh everyone with the look that we have today. Have some Christmas lights up, which we'll be turning on shortly. as the day closes. Scan up into the timbers now. See the fan. So we propose that the approved ceiling again be tongue and groove, as you see this, stained the same color. The ceiling would then consist of a layer of tongue and groove, this existing layer, a layer of 5/8" drywall over top of it, and then a new layer of tongue and groove. The architectural look in the end and the acoustic qualities would be very close to what we have today. As a matter of fact, it probably will have a nicer sound, maybe a little less of an echo, but it would be very close to what we have today. Okay, we've seen and heard about the problem. We have discussed the best solution that we feel can be done in this case. The next, I just would like to just kind of let you know about the steps that we would like to take in order to take care of this particular issue. We would start by covering the floor actually with tarps, and then ordering up the pine and having the pine tongue and groove delivered. It would be laid out on the tarped floor in the sanctuary. It would be stained and then brought out into the social area and stacked where you may recall all of that lumber being stacked before, just in the on the edge of the quiet room. And the next part would be to bring in scaffolding and set up scaffolding. Kootenai Lake Electric would be brought in to remove all of the light fixtures and the fans. And then Brian Garvin and his team would be brought in to cover, first of all, protect the timbers from any marking as drywall is hoisted up into place. You don't want that chalky marking on the timbers, so we will have them wrap the timbers to some degree to protect them from getting marked up. And the drywall would then be installed, again using conventional mounting materials, but the difference this time would be, instead of taping and mudding as you do on conventional walls, they would simply use a fire-rated fire tape, a special tape, and tape all the seams and that touch point between the drywall and the timbers. That also needs to be protected and sealed to that fire rating. After that, they would exit, and then John Johnson and myself would come in, and we would start installing that climatized tongue and groove that had been lying here and climatizing and drying. And then after that's all in place, then Kootenai Lake Electric would come in and again reinstall the lights and the fans. And that pretty much takes us back to where we are today, except with the new improved fire-rated ceiling. So hope that kind of gives you some idea of the work ahead of us. The last thing I think that we need to kind of touch on, it's important also, is to kind of go over the cost of this project and what this means for us in that department. We'll be back in a moment. So let's go over the cost estimates of what this is going to take for us to complete not only the sanctuary ceiling, but also in the very beginning I mentioned that we had identified a few other items with the architect that needed to be given some extra detail and attention. So with all of those things considered, at this time, to get all the work done to achieve occupancy, we anticipate the cost to be somewhere between $30,000 and $35,000, which would also include in there, we added $5,000 for the architect's fee, and we're not sure exactly what that is going to be. There is a good chance that the membership will be given an opportunity to participate in a fundraising campaign which would make the proposed work possible. So feel free to give me a call, and if you have any questions about the process or the work that we were planning on doing or how we arrived at some of the numbers, but we feel that this is the best way forward to once again achieve what we have got today, but even more a better product in the end, a safer building, which is something that we would certainly want to have, keeping in mind the coming years after a fire year that we had last year. We don't know, down the road, this might be a blessing in disguise to have this extra safety feature in our building. So hopefully that answers some questions about where we are in this project. Thank you so much. Goodbye.